Hi. I've never really done anything like this before. I mean, I've Skyped or I did a couple interviews on podcasts and stuff. I've never actually done a webcam video, literally. And what I'm going to say, I was actually going to just write out on a note on this page, Facebook. But I decided that it really makes me nervous, and I kind of get a stutter and my heart goes crazy because I have bad nerves. But with what the topic I'm going to talk about, it's such a personal, vulnerable subject that it just wouldn't mean nearly as much if I was to come about it in a note that nobody would read or really appreciate. But I feel as if just speaking directly into a webcam would be much more personal, and that's fitting for what I want to say or the message that I want to convey to my audience or my readers or just people that I know, which really, to me, I know my readers better than I know people that I see every day. They know me better than I know myself in certain ways because I open up in ways that I don't open up to myself through my art. But to get more on topic, the past year since about my book signing, I declared with the Black Season that I was going to live my life a certain way. I was going to overcome my own insecurities, my depression, for the sake of my art and to be the person I meant to be when I was a child, and to sort of not give up as I matured, but to give up everything else but that childhood goal. And the past year, I really sort of did give up on it. And I think that I became somebody that didn't deserve readers or didn't deserve friends. At the point that I finished writing the Black Season, I had everything in my life that one would want. Basically, I had friends. I had somewhat of a relationship, I guess you could say. I had my book was out, people were reading it, talking about it, getting reviews, publicity. And I wasn't working on another one. Well, I began the pilgrimage shortly after, but I was very comfortable. And I don't think artists should ever be comfortable. They should always try new things, such as this video right here. But after that, about a week after, I had the best weekend, arguably, of my entire life. And then the very next week, starting the 4th, 5th of November, things went really downhill. And people lost faith in me and decided that Todd Crawford wasn't a person worth being around. And I think that in my reaction to that, I became very depressive and self-conscious about a lot of things. And even though I didn't give up on my goal with writing, I gave up on working on it. I believed that success was possible, but I stopped working towards it and therefore did not deserve it. And in my reaction to people's allegations about me with the school shooting stuff that was made up and completely ridiculous, or, the sort of petition against me being at the book signing that formed, I really became somebody that, for the people that do matter to me, my readers, I didn't become somebody worth following. I was a writer that did not write. I was an artist who did not create. And just the past couple months, I've realized that I don't deserve readers. I don't deserve people to read my books or look forward to the pilgrimage or read my interviews, because if I'm not working on it, if it didn't mean that much to me, then why should anybody else care? Why should people look forward to something that I'm not actively working on every day? Why should people think about it or even consider that? I always felt like I'm going to write what I'm interested in, because if the author doesn't care, why shouldn't anybody else? And I got to a point in my life where I just admitted I would rather kill myself than live another day the way that I was living my life. Literally this weekend, I made that statement to somebody I was talking to. And it'd be very easy to just say, okay then, and then just, or, overdose on biotin. I'm kidding, of course you can't overdose on that, it's a vitamin. It just washes out in your pee. But instead of doing that, I'm really going to work towards bettering myself and my art, and making Todd Crawford as a brand name, or an author or artist, whatever you want to call me, and the pilgrimage something much more worth investing in, and really taking this opportunity to take a step back and make sure that I do everything I need to right, because I feel like at the end of every night, if I'm going to regret the day that happened before, looking back 20 years from now, like most people do, and say, wow, I regret that. I should have done more with my time. Recognizing that at this age, I should really just take advantage of that and make sure that I do. And that's really what I'm trying to do right now. I'm going to begin writing every night. I've got a lot of publicity stuff planned, sort of a pre-marketing campaign for the pilgrimage, and also really help out people like me when I was younger at an age. I don't care if they're twice as old as me or 12, and help them recognize that what they're doing, if it's honest, is worth putting into the world. And I've even considered starting to pay people just to do art, just to support them or give them a reason to. And I don't think I'm going to do that, because I don't think art should be associated with money, so to speak. I think artists should be able to live by what they do if they deserve it, but you shouldn't do it because of money. What I'm getting at, though, is that really I just became a product of my surroundings rather than taking control of them and making my surroundings a product of myself. And basically I was in the center stage, and I sort of wet my pants. And at this point in my life, I have the option of continuing on and just finishing the speech that I began giving when I self-published A Clockwork in the Stars, and to a much wider audience. Or I could just walk off embarrassed and go like cry on my mom's lap or something. And I'm past the hardest stage, really, dedicating my life to it. I just have to put that in action. And that's definitely what I'm doing and what I'm working on. My parents have always been really supportive, but there's that period of time where, they kind of sat me down and Todd, I don't know if you should be saying this stuff in your art, this overly violent, sexual, godless things. And I stood up for it then, and I feel as if I could, open up to people that I do know. That's much harder than opening up to strangers. And as soon as I finish this, I am literally going to start working on the pilgrimage immediately. And it's just really not worth procrastinating over or making excuses, because every day it felt like I'd say, at the end of the night, I'm going to start writing, and I'll get to it, but for now I'm going to listen to The Fragile 6 times, or watch this movie, or do whatever. And I'm just going to stop with the excuses. And I think once you recognize a problem, it's no longer a problem, it becomes progress. If you properly address it anyways and admit to yourself that things need to change. And I'm really at least halfway through the bridge. I don't know if I crossed it or not yet, and I guess that's up to me to decide. But yeah, it's like those people that really say, I'm fat, but I'm proud of it, and this isn't a problem because it makes me who I am. And I think that to an extent it does. If you accept a problem and do not choose to change it, you become the problem. And I could say, yes, I'm overbearingly lonely, and sometimes I have these overly melodramatic, depressive thoughts, and that makes me stagnant in my creative process. And I could either say, okay, this is a problem, I'm going to fix it, or I could say, no, that's who I am. That's just how Todd works. And I'm going to go with the former route and just fix it and not be that way anymore. Or else, why should I be a part-time writer? Am I going to have part-time readers, part-time supporters that kind of, help me out or read my books when they feel like it? I don't want that. And I don't want to be one of those people at all. So it doesn't matter when it happens, but the pilgrimage will come out. There's going to be a large marketing campaign for it, and none of this is solid. I'm just saying that's going to happen because I'm going to make sure that it happens. But be it in 2 years, 5 years, the end of this year, the pilgrimage is going to be a huge book, and it is going to make a significant impact on not just one person. That was my goal during my independent phase with the Lulu or the Amazon Kindle books that came out and made that small splash on significant people that they were meant to. But at this point in time, I want to broaden my audience. I want to do new things, and I want to become much more experimental and try myself much more as an artist. Rather than being comfortable or writing the same thing, I'm going to write about different landscapes I've never been to that my readers aren't familiar with, because it'll be more challenging for me to write and my readers to read. And I really want to educate. I mean, it's so easy to just say, America sucks. It sucks living here. I don't like Christianity. And then write 10 books about it. But I sum that up in my constellations cycle. So I'm just moving on from everything that I was restrained by in the past. And it's going to make everything I do from this point on much more worthwhile. I have 5 books planned. There's still film adaptations and stuff that I really do plan on working on, even though it may not happen for another 10, 20 years, but it's a plan and I'm working towards it. And that's really the proclamation of this video, just to say, I realize things have been slow. It's been an entire year since last year, and at that point in time I felt like, oh, well, I'll never feel this strongly about something. I'll never be as proud of a book as I am the Black Season. I'll never have friendships or memories like I do with this one. And it scared me because I would wake up from these nightmares that it was still last year during this November through, July period where I was just so depressive because of my surroundings. Rather than imposing my surroundings by being optimistic, I was letting the negativity of those around me affect me on a personal level. And that scared me. But what scared me more was that I would have nightmares or more dreams, just not nightmares at all, but really pleasant dreams about the period before in October or September, which was arguably the happiest time of my life. And I'd wake up feeling happier than I've been since then. And it really made me take a step back and think, I'll never do as well as I did then. I'll never be that happy. I'll never have memories as nice. And I just realized now that that's a complete and utter lie. I was trapped in this birdcage mindset where I'd only seen so much. I'd only seen one room my entire life. And now I realized that the world is somewhat of a mansion that I need to go out and explore. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So whenever my next book comes out, be it 2 years, 5 years, like I said, it's going to be radically different from anything I've ever written in at least one way, at least. But it is going to happen. And if not, just throw me on a tree, nail my hands to its branches, and light it on fire, and just crucify me, and I'll be a martyr. I'll be the next Kurt Cobain or Jesus because I failed, and I could be a celebrated failure. And I don't want that. That's why I wrote The Black Season. And I say that now so that if I was to give up, you could literally, I don't want to be celebrated for failing. I don't want people to look up to me for giving up on life or my goals. I want to be a success story because there's so many failure stories, and it's sickening. And it's sickening that people are just so supportive of failure. You did all you could, or God didn't want it to happen. That's not in the grand plan. That's a lie. I'm not going to blame my failure on some God I know doesn't exist. And I'm not going to say that anybody else has helped me so much as I've helped myself, even though those influences, are a constant pressure or constant support in the case of some people, and some instances. But things are going to get done, and I cannot promise another webcam video because I don't know how it's going to go. I've never done one before because I didn't think people would care, and it scares me. But I'll see how the reception is to this, and there's a lot coming by the end of October that's going to be really exciting. I've really paid attention to what people like and don't like, and I'm working on sort of just expanding and doing things that people want to see. I mean, Waltz of the Ice Cream Cone, that was just a sequel to a Symphony of Park Benches that people liked. It made them happy. They laughed. And that's what I want to do as an artist. I just want to create things that resonate with people and things that people are excited about or want to share or talk about. And even though it's kind of depressing that people get more excited about an ice cream cone at Walmart than they do a book that I write, that's still something that I put out there that is successful because it has made somebody happy for at least a moment, and it's something that they'll remember. And that's what I want to be. I want to be memorable, and that's what I'm going to do. So until then, you can just hold me to my statement that I made the last 15 minutes, and I'm going to stop repeating myself now. So have a horrible day, and I hope you die in a car accident.